Hello, I'm Keith Weiss.
Bonjour, my name is Christopher Cherry.
Hi there, my name's Mariah Cameron.
And this is A Star,
Star is Bored.
Welcome to our first episode.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Let
I'm shook to my fucking core.
Guys,
Do you
calm
want to
down.
know? Do you want to know why I'm shook to my fucking core, Chris?
Why are you shook, my dear?
Because there's some crazy shit going on outside, but I'm having so much fun trying to ignore all that and ignore the gravity of
You have to try to have fun after a certain
Do your
point.
very
You
best.
have to just make it a party.
The idea behind this whole podcast that we're going to talk to an artist in the entertainment industry every week. Christopher, Mariah, and I are all actors. We're all singers too. And we're all learning to do different skills and adapt and try and make the best of this really crazy time in history. And the best way I thought to do that is by communicating, because wherever I go, I'm always the far out weirdo. That's just who I am. And I got to live with that. I got to take that in and live with that for the rest of my life. And I can. So I'm going to. But I guess where I'm coming from is that I want to be able to communicate with people who always sort of had the same experience, always on the outside, always looking in. So we're gonna interview people every week, and we're gonna come out twice a week, and we're gonna be also posting a bunch of memes, really whatever we fucking feel like. So how dare you try to pigeonhole us with your with your pigeon ass and your pigeon face? Fuck you.
Now we're angry at our audience. We're angry at you.
Yeah, why are we yelling at you guys?
Yo, I've woken up the poltergeist.
The older guy.
I'm crying. We're airing twice. I gotta write that down.
You better write that down.
Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about that.
Very efficient production staff.
Also, is the wind blowing too distracting? Because I closed the window, so.
Yeah. For those of you following us very carefully, you'll see that Chris and I are the people who you see, on the logo, on in front of the cameras. But you know who's behind the camera and also on camera in our openings? It's fucking Mariah. This is our producer, Mariah. She deserves all the praise and God's love. So you better bathe her in that beautiful sunlight.
Bathe her in God's love.
Yes,
bathe her in God's love. You go to Bed Bath and
Venmo.
And Venmo. Everybody, hey, what's your Venmo? Let's start with you.
Yeah,
what's your
Venmo? Mariah's Venmo out there.
My Venmo is treasurechest76. One word.
Wait,
Okay.
I'm actually obsessed with that.
I was ready.
Yes.
Treasurechest76. Okay.
That's the best name I've ever heard. Come on, Treasure Chest.
It's from my jewelry business.
That's also a great name for that's a great underground hip hop name.
It's money.
It's Treasure Chest 76.
Yeah, I was about to say no. Rap name has to be Treasure Chest 76.
Fucking watch out, Takashi.
Treasure Cat. Yes, I'm here for all of it. So yeah. Venmo me.
Venmo her. Christopher, what's your Venmo?
My Venmo is at Christopher with a capital C dash Cherry with a capital C, another dash 14, because that's what they had available. Apparently there's a lot of people named Christopher Cherry.
There's a lot of people named Keith Weiss, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, I
because
can
my
only
name on Venmo is Keith Weiss 4. That's Keith Weiss 4.
So tell them your Instagram handle, which I'm obsessed with.
If they don't already know.
Yes, and our Instagram handle. Mine is Keith Latifah 95. From a
It's so
very young
good.
age, I was exposed to the barbershop trilogy. No, there's
Oh
got to be.
yes.
Barbershop. Oh my god, I forgot about that
I don't think
movie.
there's a fourth barbershop. Okay.
Really?
Production
So,
hat on. Producer hat on, rather.
There's
yeah.
two. There was a third one?
Oh,
The
no
next
kidding.
cut.
Next cut.
Yes, Barbershop 3. The next
No
cut.
way.
That's the one with Nicki Minaj. Yes. I
Oh
know
my
this one.
God.
Nicki Minaj is in it?
She's in the
Okay,
third one.
maybe I need to watch.
Who
I
let
did
that
not know that this
happen?
existed. How did I
Time
not?
out. Wait. Oh no, yes. 1,
She's
2,
probably
and 3.
so bad.
Beware. The viewing party for Barbershop 3 Next Cut will be
Oh.
next Friday at 4:30 in the morning.
Yes.
What I'd like to do now is get a little environment, you know, into our
Come on, environment.
into our pod. So I'm gonna take you on a tour
Ooh.
of what the room looks like. That's my
Ooh.
keyboard. This is
Maybe
my
don't ask me to
childhood
do
bedroom,
that.
which means you have obviously a baseball background. And do I have names for everybody? Absolutely. This is Marielle DiGiorno, Wallace,
DiGiorno. Oh,
Dacius, and
those were
Luther.
so good.
Oh my lord.
And there's so many more. Soon you'll find that there's a cutout of me in my room. And the only reason that
Oh my
exists is
God.
because I had a
Everything.
bar mitzvah when I was 13 years old. Shout out to Canna Wolk, Rabbi Birnbaum. I'm gonna cut this part out. I had a bar mitzvah
Please.
when I was 13 years old. And you're wondering, Keith, come on, that can't be the only cutout in your room, can it?
This is
Well,
a bar
it's
mitzvah
not,
we're
because I
talking
was in
about.
How to Succeed in Business.
Oh my
I was 16 years
God.
I
old.
love it.
That's my Sports
Yeah.
Illustrated.
Mhm.
That's me
Why
at the
does
center of
every
time.
Oh,
every
cover Time
male
magazine.
musical theater performer that I know have cardboard? Every Long Island male musical theater performer that I know has cardboard cutouts of themselves. Sam
Specify.
has it.
Specify.
You have it. Like, I'm pretty sure my friend Matt Wise has one. Like,
Oh my God, Matt Weiss. Shout out to Matt Weiss.
I don't know.
He
I don't
followed
think
us.
you're related, but
We're not at all. Not at all. Yeah, this is
he's
not
a
at
rock
all.
singer now.
He is. Chris, show us a little bit of your environment. Now, it's my understanding that this is your childhood home, nay?
Ow! No, I'm in the witness protection.
Yeah, he is.
But
He testified on a pretty high-profile case. We're not going to say
Tekashi
who
6ix9ine.
it was, but if the glove fits, you'll figure it out.
You must acquit now.
That's what he said. I was there in the court.
What about your room?
Well, actually, right now I'm in the living room.
Yes.
Yes, I'm in the living room with my, I guess this is my childhood home. It's also my adulthood home because that's where I live.
Have you lived in the same place your whole life?
I lived in Queens for about like a little while, actually.
Oh, okay.
For my first college, and then I transferred colleges because certain private Catholic schools are way too expensive. And way more expensive than they are. That's all I'm going to say. You shouldn't pay $60,000 for an undergraduate degree.
Not at all.
Not
That's all
at all.
That's how much I paid at my school, and I
Yeah.
still owe that shit.
Why did you
I'm
think I
on
was
the
going to
run.
vote? I was trying to vote for Bernie. I was trying to vote for Bernie because I
Girl,
want to get.
man,
We can't
I
even
would've-
talk about it.
We have to spill some out for Bernie.
I'm too triggered.
We got to spill some out for Bernie's campaign. Bernie is still alive and
Yeah.
well.
I don't even wanna hear
Bernard,
the
if
name
you're
Biden
watching
right now.
this, we would have
that's all.
voted for you.
100.
Letting you know.
Love you.
Twice.
Love you.
Both
Love you,
times.
Bernie.
Both times. I was ready to vote for Bernie.
Yo.
I was so mad. I was 20 for the primaries and 21 to vote in the general.
Mm.
I was so mad. Anyway. Well,
now
yeah,
let's
my
get to
childhood home.
talking about our first guest. Yesterday we had on Josh Lamon. Josh is been a
Amazing.
friend of mine for about a year. I was advised to go to him as a coach for an audition, and what started out as a coaching session became so much more. He became a really good friend of mine, and just became somebody who I could come to for advice about things, or just talk to on a whim, or just hang out with. He is such a kind-hearted person, and the fact that he said yes to being on our podcast, our very first episode, I feel like we've sort of been christened into podcast you
No,
know?
Broadway
seriously, like that's
podcast.
genuinely how it felt. Like I felt like because one, like he is a fellow actor. Sorry if you hear the toilet in the background.
Yeah,
um,
my sister's watching My Little Pony.
my
Right
little
over there.
pony.
My Little Pony.
Guiding our hand through
He
that
really
whole
was.
and like making it easy when he could tell that we were nervous. I think we did a great job
I
of
think
like
we
not
did the
being
best.
too
Yes,
nervous, or
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
the best job that we could do in that moment.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
tell the folks watching what today's been like for me. Today was an early day. I started at 10 a.m. Editing this video of our interview with Josh that I started last night.
I started
And
watching it.
I made all these great cuts. I learned things about myself that I didn't know. It was so wonderful. And I was doing it on my phone on iMovie. And I learned that you cannot, without uploading the iMovie first, if you're making a podcast, do
Oh,
not permanently delete. Do not delete it and then go into your delete folder
oh
and
yeah.
permanent and deletely permanate it is what I'm gonna say. You cannot do
I'm
that,
gonna deletely permanate you.
because I had to start all over, and I had to humble myself doing this entire editing process again. And I
But
can live
also,
with
thank you
that.
for doing it. You're doing a great job.
Look, it is my fucking fault you're doing this right now. I woke Chris up from a luscious nap
Okay.
twice.
No, it's fine. I really do have to stop being a lazy piece of shit at some point in my life. So
Yeah, seriously, why don't you go outside, Chris?
Ah! Okay.
Well,
Literally,
be
I was
real.
watching back the podcast, and you could hear an ambulance like 4 times. Like, in a way, I mean, it was
Pretty
definitely
exciting over
morbid,
here.
but in a way, I think it made it like that is what we are living right now. We are going to be hearing ambulances like every
All the time.
hour. Like it
Absolutely.
is crazy. So it's just like accepting that that is literally the new normal. I hate to say that because everyone's been saying that new normal, but like it's really weird.
I want to try something
Got
really
it.
quick also. I want us to give a shout out to somebody who needs a little shout out, who needs a little love.
Mm.
And if either of you can think of that person,
Yeah,
um,
I know
yeah.
someone. My best friend Gabriel Florentino, who's going to be on the podcast.
Yay!
I just want to remind you that you are a star, that you are going to be successful at this, and that you literally have nothing to worry about. You are so talented, and yeah, I love you so much, and I'm really glad that we're like getting closer again, and I love you, and I can't wait to have you on the podcast. Y'all get ready for that episode. That's an episode you're gonna want to tune into. Okay.
We're gonna be
Yes.
doing what the kids are calling turning up, getting lit, if you will. You see, we're gonna have a
Sorry to
420.
say, Mom, don't watch that episode. I love you.
Don't watch that episode, Mom. I love
Please
you.
don't watch that episode.
You won't love me if you watch that
Lord.
episode. That's for sure.
So we're gonna have my dear friend who is a non-binary actor and performer and writer. They just wrote their own musical that they're getting ready to pitch to producers and try to get going. It is absolutely incredible. So we're going to have them talk about that. We're going to have another dear friend of mine, Michael Nigro, who was in The Sound of Music, NBC, as well as just did Legally Blonde. And we are going to have Gabrielle Marzetta from the Waitress Tour. She was just on the Waitress Tour. So good, such a sweetheart. And then we are going to have who I just spoke about, my best friend, one of my best friends, Gabriel Florentino, um, who graduated from Point Park for musical theater. And yes, we are
That's
so excited for
wonderful.
that lineup. It's gonna be crazy because we're wild. It's like the
It's a
minute
wild
that
bunch.
it's gonna be a wild, bumpy
Well,
ride, but I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
and now here is our interview with Josh Lamon. You know, I hope this whole time that I've been communicating with you throughout this podcast that you'll have been thinking you'll have said something and we'll just thought it was a joke the whole time.
All right. I'm so sorry.
No, you're
Hey, that's
fine.
okay.
I loved it. I
I'm a
genuinely thought it was a
failure.
I thought it was fun.
I thought-
it was fun.
You know what, man? I
Failure.
thought you were really just challenging us to be, to stick with
on your feet like Gloria Estefan.
Yeah. Like I thought you were being it was like a UCB bro move where you were like, how long are we gonna do this for?
No.
I was like,
No.
all right, first episode ever. We might as well take risks and just embrace the unknown and all that.
Exactly
Now I
that.
could hear you loud and clear.
Great.
Perfect.
How have you been today? What did this day start like for you?
You know what? It actually started good. Today was the first day that I woke up at like before noon, and not just
Nice.
before noon, at about 10 a.m.
You gotta work.
Well, it's
That's
been
an achievement.
weird. I live alone. I have my cats, so I know that you're like, oh, that's just like having kids, and but it's not. Isn't that weird?
No.
But I haven't been sleeping like normal because like I'm in month 2, day 94 of the quarantine. And I don't have shit to do. So I'll just be up, and then I'll look at the clock and I'm like, oh, it's 6 a.m.
It's 6
Maybe I
a.m.
should go lie down. Oh, but I had a meeting with one of the producers of my podcast this morning at 11 a.m. And I was like, Joshua David, you're going to go to bed right now. No, you do not need another bourbon. You are going to bed right now.
Yes.
That's 1, 2. Okay, thank you. That's a good boy.
Literally.
Did that work? Did that work for you?
It did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. You didn't need to
Oh my
count
God.
sheep or like
I need to do that more. The art of self-control.
But then when I woke up, there was a goddamn ice cream truck outside my window for like
Oh
an
my
hour.
God.
And I was like, get the fuck away with all that frozen COVID on a stick.
You know, I will say that about where you are because Josh and I lived in the same neighborhood around like a month ago last year.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's a surprisingly noisy village in Queens. It's wild. I feel like there's always construction going on and I'm on the first
Yeah,
floor
that's
when I
very
was
accurate.
there. So literally there were always people. My favorite was there was this lady who would walk down the street and she would just scream, ice cold water, ice cold water. And she would do that for like 3 hours.
Yeah, but right now we're in quarantine. I'm like, what? I'm going to go get ice cream from you, then bleach it, and then enjoy it? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
What is your favorite flavor?
I like strawberry, but I'm also a creature of excess. So if you put a lot of like gooey caramelly things in there,
Yes.
I
yes,
will do
yes.
terrible things to your body. Just I will do naughty things to you, Keith. Naughty things. You too, Christopher
And-
Cherry. Right here
Yes.
on this podcast. Right
Oh my
here.
God, I love it already. I'm already having a blast.
I feel like that's where it starts.
Yes.
That's where we begin.
Yeah.
See, now I want some
Josh-
cookies and cream.
Okay.
You're a cookies and cream boy?
Oh yeah, and cookie dough.
Okay,
Like
that's why we do this
forever and
podcast together.
always.
We're cookie dough boys, and I like putting cookie dough as the toppings on top of that. But I haven't had ice cream.
It sounds like a really bad rap group in a sketch. Like, yo, we're the Cookie Dough Boys. And you're
Cookie
like
dough
performing
boys
at
with toppings
your
of cookie dough.
And you're
That's what this
performing at your
podcast.
grandma's retirement center, like, yeah, with the Cookie Dough Boys. Hey, grandma. Or like, I don't want to do this. You're doing it for grandma.
Yeah.
That's what this podcast is called now, Cookie Dough Boys.
Yeah,
Cookie Dough Boys.
it's gonna be a
Josh
hit.
Lamon, Cookie Dough Boys.
Good
For
stars.
those of you who don't know, Josh Lamon is an actor on Broadway.
Yes, he
His
is.
credits include Hair, Elf, Finding Neverland,
Which I saw was so
Groundhog
good.
Day, The Prom. The
Woo!
Prom. What? And I just saw him do his beautiful, fabulous self in Emoji Land. And
Oh.
that
Oh
was
my
amazing.
god! I haven't
was
seen
wild.
it yet. I need to see it. Like,
Well, you won't because it closed.
Woo! But you
But
can
you
still
can
get
hear
it on
the cast
Spotify.
recording. You can hear the
Yeah.
cast recording.
oh,
And I
How-
think there's a bootleg from when Taylor Ryman Jones was in it for the week
Sure there
when
was.
Leslie was in London. So
So
I
now
hear that there's a bootleg of it.
ooh, we're gonna go scavenger
great.
hunting right after this podcast.
We will be checking the Reddit threads. Um,
Also, you were incredible in Prom. I just have to say, and
Thank
Finding
you.
Neverland. I also saw Finding. I loved Finding
Oh,
Neverland.
thanks, Christopher. That's so sweet. Do you prefer Chris or Christopher?
Oh, Chris, it's less
Okay,
formal.
thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. No, that means a lot. Prom really, really, really means a lot to me. I think
So
all of us
good.
are very much still in mourning about prom.
I went to school with Gabby Campo and oh my god, she was the swing.
I guess you
We
didn't
all
care
went to
about
face
her.
together. Oh
I guess
no!
you
We gotta
didn't
cut that
care.
part out.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Let the evidence show that
Let the
this
evidence
bitch didn't
show.
give a fuck.
She
Wait,
is
no,
going
Gabby
to
Campo made her Broadway debut, and did you say the other swing?
Yes,
Susie Carroll.
Susie Carroll.
Yep,
Oh my god,
Susie Carroll. Two of the best in the business. They
so good.
made their Broadway debut with Prom. Gabby covered Emma and Alyssa, which
I
were the
saw a
two
video of that.
leading ladies of the show, and went on for both and was extraordinary and is currently in the Pauseway revival of West Side Story.
West Side Story.
Making
Understudying
her-
Anita.
Yep, Broadway Day 2. And Susie Carroll immediately went into Mean Girls. Casey
Yes,
Nicholaw
she did.
is
Yes,
very
she
loyal
did.
to his people because he hires kind people who are
Mm.
very talented. And Gabby is also a kind woman who is very
Oh my God.
talented. And I always say, you got to be easy to work with, happy to be there, and you got to be kind.
Mm.
And that's what gets you, that's what keeps you working if you're
Exactly.
lucky enough to work. And, also there are some people that, there's not enough jobs, but always be kind no matter what.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll
That's why I'm
tell you-
so glad. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna stop talking.
No, no worries.
It's your show. You talk.
Yeah. We can all talk forever.
We can all
honestly. That's why Chris and I are perfect for each other for this show.
I
Because
agree.
like we go on for hours. We
Oh
were
yeah,
talking
I
to
will
one
not
of-
stop.
we were talking to one of the guests we had last night, and Chris was like, "Oh, we'll just have a conversation." We spoke for hours, 2 hours, from
Nicole
like
Vanessa
11 to 1
Ortiz.
a.m. And she's phenomenal.
She's about to do
wonderful.
the lead Dolores Van Cartier at a paper mill.
And hopefully that goes on immediately after everything opens
Everyone's
up.
job.
That's the idea.
Listen, that's why I call it Pauseway. Like everything right now in our world, we have to think of it as paused.
Yeah.
We cannot think of it as over. There's too much shit going down. We are paused.
It's so true.
And the sooner we accept that, the easier it's going to be to be able to make moves and adapt. But I feel like we've also been like gearing up for something like this, because the amount of content that's been created in the past 10 years is like so insane that we have collections and collections of like art and theater and television and film.
I mean, we're very lucky, though I don't think I think that was more greed than anything else. I think that was more like, oh, well, then we gotta have a streaming service. No, now we have 50 million shows.
Exactly.
Like, because
Capitalism.
now nobody can make shit. But
True.
you know, I think it is hard. Like for people like me that live alone, I'm very grateful that I have my cats. Thank fucking God. But like
Yeah.
Keith, you know me, like I'm an affectionate person. I like to
You are.
hug and like hold arms and cuddle and stuff. And so like it's very difficult. But there are bitches on Grindr that are like, hey, what are you
Still
doing? What are you
say
doing?
that. Yes,
And
it's so
it's like,
true. It's crazy.
and it's not that I'm judging them. I'm not. Hear
Mm.
me out. Like right now we are living in crazy times where we are all entitled to be doing what we're doing because who the fuck am I to tell you how to behave in a time like this? I do not know your mental health status. I do not know if you are alone. I do not know what you're going through. I do not know what you need. And there have been days where I have felt like crumbling.
Mm.
But at the same time, I'm like, listen, I would pay your bills just to cuddle you for 5 minutes. I would pay your bills.
Oh my God.
But
Oh, it could make me
you're
cry.
staying at home, and don't send me any pics because I'm not that girl. That doesn't do anything.
Okay.
And also, like, I'm not sending anything. Please, I was in hair. Look it up on the internet. You can see me if you really wanna.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hashtag grinder PSAs. A lot of people out there who really are feeling so. I was literally like moments before we launched, one of my like closest friends who's an actor, he messaged me and he's been in his apartment for 4 weeks by himself and he thought he had it at one point. He feels better now and like I just like want to give a shout out to you. You are not alone and so many people are just not alone right now. I
Yeah.
know this
So
sounds and looks
true.
like Dear Evan Hansen, but this is real fucking life.
Well, no, it's not Dear Evan Hansen because he didn't tell a horrible fucking lie and get away with it and then get to sing a
Gag.
song called You Will Be Found.
You know, if only
Find a
Exactly.
higher tree, Evan. But listen, to your friend, I don't know you or maybe I do, but I love you. I'm here with you. Maybe we can play some games online or something.
I would love
Speaking
that.
of,
I'm a huge gamer.
I have been randomly playing games online with like famous people, but not because like I know them. I guess because friends do. I'll be on like some app that a friend downloaded. Next thing you know, like I'm playing a game with like we're in a deep conversation and I'll have no idea that it's them. Then I'll be like, oh, that's Todrick Hall. Or I'll be like, I'm playing tic-tac-toe with Michael Musto. Like, what is happening right now? And
Yo.
Michael
Oh my
Musto
God.
wanted to play like a trivia game, a pop culture one, and I'm like, no, I don't know anybody. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't know who's cool.
Same.
I don't read the Times.
Naturally,
Sorry.
I got crucified, and he got really bored, and we haven't played since.
Obviously.
Anyway,
That's-
the internet is wild.
It
The internet
really
is getting
I can get
wild.
lost in it for hours on
Yeah.
end. I actually have them.
I
Today.
played Cards Against Humanity the other night with some old friends from Long Island, and it was just so bizarre. Just this was a way of like meeting people. Like if we were together, we would go to somebody's house and play Cards Against Humanity. But we're meeting all these people over screens now, and like the way we socialize is changing. And I think in some ways we're gonna be a much warmer people when we get out of here because we've had such reflection and isolation.
Also,
I'm hopeful. Maybe not. We might be angry.
We're gonna be a lot more like Europeans, which is like I spent some time in Germany and I found out that it's very rude to basically say like how are you to people over in a lot of Europe. They're like, oh, that's such a Western thing. Like, shut the fuck up. How am I? Like, how are you?
Really?
Like, you want to know how I am? Like you don't know me. You don't care about me. That's so fake. Like, what do you want?
God.
Like,
I
they
did
say
not
like
know that.
they'd be like, good morning, Chris. What can I get you? Good morning, Chris. Where's the bathroom at? Good morning, Chris. Can I get a coffee? You know, not like good morning, how are
Wow.
you? They're like, fuck off. I
Fuck
think
off, I have
now,
plans. I
yeah,
have
That's so
plans for my
true. I
day.
do see us going in that direction because it's almost turning into the same thing in New York.
well,
Like,
we're afraid of people right now, and we're gonna be afraid of
yeah.
people for a while, and and that's okay. Right
Mm,
now, we live in a city, like I live in a building with 8 million people that share one elevator and two stairwells. And let me tell you, I'm a little agoraphobic.
mm,
I leave maybe once or twice a week during the day.
yep, same.
And when I do, my therapist had to teach me, like, I was like, but what if somebody gets on the elevator with me? And she was like, you tell them to go fuck themselves. And
Yes.
like, I practiced that with a therapist. I paid a co-pay to
Wow.
someone to learn that.
Mm,
That's, I mean, but it's important
yes.
to know. I mean, you
It
have
really
to be
is,
able to
though.
learn your boundaries and
But
like,
Yeah,
it's going to be the
seriously.
same thing at theaters. They will
That's
come up with a thing that's going to be like, you know, like 3 seats here, 3 seats,
mm,
nobody, 3 seats, like it's
that's
going to
crazy
take
to think
time for
about.
our society. Like all those people that, and I was one of them, like, I'm a hug person.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore, bitch.
no,
Not anymore. Now it's like,
Exactly.
who else you been hugging?
It's like a fifth grade school dance.
Yeah, no, like I'll hug my
no.
best friend. I'll say
Pillows are
hello.
making a comeback for sure for
Yeah.
Oh my
people.
God.
You're gonna find pillows with stories. I also just like love about you personally, your mentorship of
Yeah,
like
I was gonna say
young
that too.
people like myself, and I just want to know like where you learned kindness from, like where
Seriously,
you
yeah.
learn to pass that on to people, and why is kindness so important in theater? I would like that to be publicly spoken about.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
Please.
Come
I
on.
think, and this might sound a little weird, I think some people have gifts, and I'm an agnostic person. I don't believe in anything. I don't not believe in anything. But I know that there are things that I can't explain. I know that there are people that have like some sort of inner light about them,
Mm,
and they can spread positivity. I know that there are people that have some sort of gift where I don't know if it's psychic or what, but they have something and I can't
mm,
explain it. For me, I am very much a parent. I am just paternal. It is how I've always been. And when I have younger friends, and I've always had younger friends just because I work in theater, you know, like I'm just very parental, even with like
mm,
my friends, anybody that I love. I just care about them in that sort of deep way. I also spent a good 40 years really truly hating myself and being very terrible to
mm,
myself.
mhm.
I was in a very serious domestic violence situation where I was almost killed.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, thank you. I was put myself in other situations with other abusive people, and I'm still learning how to take care of myself. I
Mm,
dropped out of school, like I did things the hard way. I got very fucking lucky.
mm,
And I feel like when I was entering the business, it was still cool to be a diva. I also was entering the business young without, shit.
mm.
And as a fat kid, who, when you're young, you better be a fucking dancer because there's not much work for you.
Amen.
Yeah.
And so when you're at all these open calls with 700 like really hot guys, and I'm saying that as like the fat kid when you don't feel good about yourself
Hmm.
and you just feel like everybody's better than you.
Yep.
So as I get older and I see people, especially younger people that want to do this, why make things hard? It
Mm,
took me a long time to go like, wait a minute, Fatty McGee next to me is not my competition. They are completely different.
amen.
Yeah, I want
Yes.
the part, but they want the part too. And if they get it, that's who they want. Like, that has nothing to do with us.
Yep.
We're different humans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have a hard enough fucking life.
Yeah.
Like,
We
we gotta
do.
be community because nobody else gets it. Nobody
I've
else gets it.
I've had to learn to just be kind to myself about where I am with what's on the scale, or like where I am fitting into my clothes. And like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think there's so many people that have been there. You know, you go
Oh
into an
yeah.
amazing store, you want to get some nice clothes for yourself and like make compromises because you want to, you know, be the person that you are. And there's so many beautiful people that could do that. And you know, recently, like, I got to a place where I wasn't very happy with that, and I had to
Mm.
like make some changes. And using those changes, and with like a lot of help from like my mom and my dad and my sister,
Aw.
we made sure that like I had a team of people around me that could help me. And I lost
Mm.
like 80 pounds in 6 months. And
Wow.
honestly, like, to anybody trying to do that, it's crazy, and it will not feel good. It will not be fun. Like, this is not, you don't do that for joy. You do it because you feel it in your heart. And if you don't want to, then fucking don't.
That's
You're beautiful
perfectly
the way
okay
you are.
too.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter either way. You
perfectly
you
okay too.
either you win by being yourself, or you win by like challenging yourself.
Yeah.
There's no loss.
I have an eating disorder for compulsive binge overeating and just overeating in general.
Mm.
And this year, you know, after prom closed, and during prom, you know, I put on so much weight, but I just, you know, it's an addiction. And
Mm.
you know, I have a huge team of specialists. I do work out, but it's changed. It's not like I'm working out like I don't want to be thin. I want to be healthy. Have
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
lost a lot of weight? Yeah, but that's not what it's about. And
No.
I'm actually learning to like look in the mirror and be like, damn, you're looking fucking sexy right
Yeah.
now.
Yes, thick is
And
sexy. Thickness has
Thick is
always been,
it
in
sexy.
sure it
my
can be,
opinion.
but it's about self-love. But also
Yes.
right now, when you don't want to get off the couch, you don't fucking have to. You're nailing it.
Mm.
When you're having a sad day, have the sad day. You're fucking nailing it. Like,
Exactly.
Exactly.
my
I
therapist is like, what do you have to do tomorrow? Are you training for a marathon? Like, fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, a
It's
marathon
so
around
true.
my fucking bed. I
Yeah.
mean,
No, literally.
I definitely have found that like exercise for me is just something that I learned I was more capable of than I realized. And to find joy in exercising is really difficult, but if you find ways to make it work, I am fortunate to have a like 15-year-old treadmill in this house. But before I came to Long Island, I'm in my childhood home, by the way, and I do live in East Harlem, but I have a treadmill here. And I just put on music, and I have to trick myself because I'm still kind of like, I don't like, deep down it's like, this is hard and I don't like this, but like I get a joy, you get euphoria out of it.
Definitely. I mean, and for me, I do not exercise. I
And
definitely
you
am
look
on the
like
more
a
lazy
snack,
side.
bro.
Oh Lord. But no, I definitely had I relate a lot to what you said, Josh, and I really appreciate you for saying that. Because as being a thicker person myself, it's you really do start to get into that self-hatred mode, especially being an actor, and feeling the pressure like when you go into a casting room, like they see you before you actually like open your mouth to do anything. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for saying that's really
Well,
inspiring.
also, like, do you feel like it even just pigeonholes you further? I'm like, so I'm a
Hmm.
fat Jew. That means that all I can do is the borscht belt.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I feel that way all the time. I literally, the only parts I've really gone out for are for like this stocky character guy. And like, also my I sing, the way I sing, my voice isn't really like the character guy,
Mm.
Mm.
really. Like, it's another thing. And like,
I fucking
I
love your voice. I would
Oh
marry your
yeah.
voice.
Hmm.
oh, thank you so
Christopher,
much, man.
what's your experience in the business been like
Yeah.
with being a character dude?
Oh, it's been interesting. I In college, I very much so resented it, but I resented a lot of things. I think, especially being a man of color as well. I think I resisted a lot, like really not wanting to do anything that was like my type, like or what people considered my type. I did not want to play genie. I did not want to play donkey. I was like, absolutely not.
Right.
And now I've come to a place where I'm like, you know what? If that type of role is what's going to allow me to take my career off and possibly have a bigger platform to then later on in life do whatever I want, then it's
Yeah.
okay. But I definitely have felt a lot of the feelings that you spoke about, like just especially like going into shows like Choir Boy or like Book of Mormon or Hamilton, where it's like the men are very fit. um it's a little discouraging at times, and like sometimes I don't audition at all like because I'm already kind of thinking of the ways of that I'm not going to get the job before I even walk through the door.
Absolutely. We all do that. But I would say, for those of you at home listening, I'm not black. But a strange loop is gonna fucking change shit. It
Oh
is the
my
best thing that
god.
has been written.
Ugh.
I'm not gonna say in how long, because everything is great to me. Well, not everything, but that score,
Ugh,
that
god.
show.
Like, what
I listen to it maybe like 4 times a week.
Ugh, it's so good. I literally like. I think especially for me as well. Like it really. I've just never seen anything like it,
Mhm.
especially
Yeah.
in the world of theater, but just in the world of performing art in general. And the fact that that man wrote that score and the book,
Mhm.
like,
I've never felt so seen before by
um,
anything I've watched in a theater as with Strange Loop. The way like he opens a story about queerness and such, and being overweight in the industry, and what that really, um how that affects every outcome you get. And I
For
mean, they deserve every Lortel Award they were nominated for. A
for
shout
me,
out to the Lortel Awards,
I've
because
never I've never saw so much or learned so much before,
yeah.
because I grew up in a nice small town
Mm,
that was very privileged, but even like my high school, it was not segregated, but I vividly remember the groups of kids that would hang out, and it was very segregated. Not all of them, but it
mhm.
would be like, I grew up in San Diego, so it'd be like the Latino kids hung out over here, and
Yeah,
like there were diverse groups, but still I didn't know much. And to be able to be almost 40 years old and to experience a show and being like, oh my God, I had no idea.
idea. Yeah.
And I'm learning, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm
Mm,
grateful that this conversation is being had,
yeah.
because it's being had now in such a way that the new generation is really going to have a good fucking chance.
I
they
agree.
really are.
And so
1000% with
that's
that.
sort of what it did for me, to the point that I almost called the producer, Barbara, to be like, I'm going to look for people with a lot of money, and I'm going to shove
Yes.
them your way. But I think they have their money. So,
Oh, thank
I
God.
hope they
Like,
have their money, like
they
there's
totally do. I feel like they definitely do now, and
well, it's
so
going
deserve.
to DC at
I
some
know.
point, but it was going to go without Larry because he was doing a film. So I just
Yeah.
hope, I mean, but hey, I can't wait to see whoever plays that role.
Whoever
Yeah.
does it, it's
I
going
thought
to
it
be.
should be Chris personally,
Oh my
because that
gosh.
was the plan. I saw the breakdown on Playbill, and I just messaged Chris right away, and I was like,
Chris, you
"Girl,
start working
you're
on that
going to DC."
material.
You know what's crazy? So John Michael, who was in it, I was double cast with in college. We both played Otto in Spring Awakening, and then Jason Veazey, who was also in it, I understudied him at with Broadway Bounty Hunter at Barrington Stage, like part of this like apprenticeship program. So it's weird. It was like I had two of these people telling me, "You have to come see the show. You have to come see the show. Have you heard of his music?" And I just sat there in complete awe. I would honestly be. I feel like I would be too nervous to do it because it was so brilliant. Like it was almost like intimidatingly like brilliant.
Don't you
Like,
dare be afraid of some success, honey, because you
mm,
work on that role and we'll work on it together, because
oh,
why the hell not?
Yeah.
right.
Josh should be your understudy, is what Josh is trying to say.
Yes.
I Let me tell you, if it wouldn't be the most racially insensitive thing and cause like riots and make all of my friends turn against me and make
Oh my
me turn
god.
against me, I would totally do it.
Josh
But
Lamon is a trailblazer.
I
Yes.
I'm an even better Caroline Thibodeau
Yes.
in
Oh,
Caroline or Change than
I
I
am so
am
excited for
anything
that
else.
show.
Me too.
yeah.
Oh my
I'm
god.
glad they came up with a plan to keep it up in the fall, because
Thank
Me
that
too.
show
God.
is like nothing, no, is like no musical that has been really taken around in like the 2000s.
I was talking with Casey Levy about how hard it is for her to go from like Elsa to Rose Stopnik, like vocally, because it's like, let it go! And then it's like, Carolyn, there's extra food. And so I'm
She
like,
is a
what if you just
chameleon.
fucking do it as Elsa? Like, Carolyn, there's extra food.
Yes.
I don't believe in women kids. Ah,
I'm obsessed.
ah. Anyway,
No,
that's my dream.
Come on,
that's
live
wonderful.
performance.
We need to make that dream come true. I
Yes.
also wanted to talk to you about being an understudy, because like it is, I had the experience of doing that at the Flea Theater for a play called Locked Up Bitches, and I covered 7 tracks,
Yep.
4 women, and
Please.
3 different characters in the show. And you
I've never swung
studied
one too.
Barry in the prom, and went on quite a bit. And there's, let me tell you, so much Reddit content about your work.
Is there
And
really?
I think so.
Oh my
Yeah, I'm pretty
God.
sure I've seen like Josh Lamon is. I feel like you went on like so enough, you
I went
know.
on many, many times, but I started as a swing. My first Broadway gig was swinging hair for the first few months
Mm,
before I joined the tribe. And it's very scary. What I learned as a swing is wherever you are, as long as you are safe, as long as you are not hurting anyone, you are exactly right.
mm,
Um, and to be kind, because as you will learn in your careers, a swing goes on and everybody's like, yes, you did it, you're so fucking good, we love you. The second time, hey, that was great. Listen, so I stand
mm.
on this number. And then the next time they're like, not even talking to you, they're just talking shit.
That's real. Come on.
That is
But being
so
an
real.
understudy is hard. The key to it, Brooks Ashmanskas is my god. He's my mentor. He's my one of my best
Incredible.
friends.
Oh my god.
He is everything I wished I was, you know, and
Yeah.
thank God that I'm not.
Can I just say
Um,
quickly about Brooks before you continue?
yeah,
Everybody has to go on YouTube and find the footage of him as Carmen Gia in The Producers. It is some of the funniest footage I've ever seen of an actor on Broadway. He completely animalistically and viscerally does like serious dope clown work. Please continue.
nobody does what Brooks does.
Ugh.
It's
Um,
crazy.
but he also taught me many things. He and Chris and Beth especially. One, when you fuck up, you gotta laugh. It's just a
Mm,
show. You just gotta laugh at it and laugh at it and laugh at it, and nobody does that better than them.
mm,
Um, and what I learned for myself is honor the blueprint.
Mm.
Somebody
whew.
was hired and they made the perfect blueprint for this part.
Mm.
You learn that blueprint. You might not agree with it all the time, but you learn it, you master it. And once you master it, that's when you put your stink on it too. But you
Mm.
got to learn the
That's
blueprint
huge.
Yeah.
That's
and you
huge.
got to be prepared because you will go on an intermission, bitch.
Whew. What
Wow.
is that like? Can you please like tell us a little bit what that feeling is like? Like, have you ever gone on during intermission?
Yeah, I was doing this show. It was intermission. I was in my normal track, and my dressing room was on the 5th floor, so you know I wasn't upstairs. I was downstairs in a quick change booth reading, and the PSM ran in. His name is Glenn. He went, Josh, you're on for Brooks. And I went, shut up. He's like, no, you're on. And I went, yeah, and you should shut up. He's like, and he was just standing there, and I was like, wait, I'm on for Brooks right now? And he was like, and I was like, bring the costumes downstairs, and I'll need my contacts, and tell my dresser to get a lorazepam from my table.
Okay.
And
oh my God.
my first line when I enter is Caitlin, who played Emma, is on the bed, and I knock on the door and I go, Emma, can we come in? We brought Haagen-Dazs. But I went, Emma, can we come in? I know I look different.
Oh, yes.
And then I said, hot but different.
Yes!
You are a star!
And that's sort of how I handled it, and that got the audience on my side.
Oh my God.
That's
and
phenomenal.
then you just do it. It's scary, but what are you gonna do? Leave?
Nah, bro. Not for Broadway.
Imagine you just walk off the stage and just don't come on, just a dead pause.
Well, like Kate Marilli, who was one of our swings and one of the original ensemble for prom in Atlanta, and our assistant dance captain and one of the best performers in the business. She is currently in the Pauseway production of what's it called up at Lincoln Center. She's the standby for what's her name from Bright Star. I'm really bad with names.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get a chance to see Bright Star, but
and I don't. Oh, Carmen Cusack. I don't know her.
Yes.
Anyway, so we're at places. Curtain's about to come up. I'm standing with Beth. She starts puking, and Kate Marilli went on without a costume. She had a little red dress without a wig for the character, so they put her in this little terrible wig. And she went on for Beth Level without a rehearsal.
What?
That's insane. She was just prepared. She was, that's the master of being prepared for the moment.
And it's scary as fuck, and your anxiety is what's going to get you prepared.
That's exactly right.
That's so true.
That's what prepared me for this podcast. I was, we were feeling amazing.
We were nervous. I'm not gonna lie, we were very nervous.
And then within about an hour and a half before, I was working on something else because I was like, I'm focusing on this so hard. I need to be nice to myself. I need to give myself a break. And
I get nervous all the time. We all do.
It's true. I can't imagine. Who are you most nervous for to talk to on your podcast? As of late,
I'd say the one that I was most nervous about was Ali Stroker because I don't really know her super well.
Yeah.
So I was nervous about that one. I don't know. I always get a little bit nervous because you just when things don't go well, I am very hard on myself. Even if people love it, I'm like, to me, I didn't. And so, and I know that I'm right because I'm a Capricorn.
Yes.
And the fun fact, I don't even have to fact check things because I'm a Capricorn.
Yeah.
That's how I'm right.
Capricorns are yeah, that's very accurate. Capricorns are usually always right.
Honestly, I think it means that you care if you're nervous. I think it'd be worse if you just walked in there you were knowing exactly what you were doing. What was your first impressions on as you were starting your first podcast? We are right now.
Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was just hoping for the best.
Oh, thank God.
But I did have funny little gags planned. The first one that I recorded was my friend Christian, and I knew that his warm-up song was the Moana song, and I found this really talented actress who's also a Moana impersonator.
We both know somebody.
Where she's going to be on this podcast.
She's going to be on soon.
And she hid in a fucking closet for 30 minutes and then burst out as Moana.
It's so good.
And Christian was shocked. He's still shocked.
Yeah, he seemed to really. I listened to that episode the other day, and his journey about getting to Broadway, and like he started on Jesus Christ Superstar, and
Mm,
then he went to Footloose, and Footloose was only 2 weeks, and then it's like, then what? Then what happens? You it. Talk about the game of Broadway, because Broadway's
yes,
become such a
please.
status, and it always has been.
It's always been a
Um,
status. Here's the thing about Broadway. Broadway can be very emotionally hard. If you're
Mm,
in a new show, the way that you sort of look at it in quarters, as in tourist time. It's like, okay, do we have till the fall? Do we have till
mm,
January?
mm.
Do we have till the Tonys?
Always in limbo. Mm,
And unless you're in a show that is going to be running for a long time, but even then they close Newsies real quick, and that was doing fine.
yeah.
True.
You just never know. That's why it's important to be grateful about it. That's why it's
Mm,
also important to know that it's okay if you're having a bad day. It's okay if you don't want to be there one day.
hmm.
It's also work, and it is very, very hard, especially the older that you get. It's hard. Living in New York is hard. And
Yeah.
doing that 8 times a week plus rehearsals twice a week
And
is also
commuting.
hard.
That's what I wanted to ask you. I like, how has it been being in the business for so long and watching these young actors coming up, or younger actors coming up? Like, how has it been for you, and how have you like kept your passion for theater and just performing in general so strong?
It's different. I have a passion for the people, and I still
Mm,
have a passion for theater, but it's changed.
mm,
Um, like the shows that come out now, I do tend to enjoy, but I don't love going to the theater as much as I used to. And I think that's mostly just because I do it,
mhm,
so I view it as like I still love listening to it and learning about it and reading it. I love to go see plays. And I
Me
love
too.
seeing a lot of smaller things and experimental things off Broadway.
What smaller things
Mm,
have you seen lately?
yes.
I haven't seen anything because I've been working.
Oh, right, right.
So I haven't seen shit. But with that said, it's more about the people, and I've been very lucky. The young artists that I've gotten to work with, both through prom or
Mm,
through teaching or whatever, the next generation is no joke.
mm,
They are, I mean, I love them. I love them. I just want to hold on to them. And when there's one, like with an attitude problem,
mm.
I have no problem giving some loving guidance.
Yeah. Have you seen that? Obviously, we don't need to go into
Sure.
specifics, but have you come across some younger actors who have a bit of a chip on their shoulder, and how have you kind of navigated that?
I've
Trying to look
seen
back.
every actor has a chip on their shoulder, including myself. What we do is
Mm,
hard, and we have to go through a lot.
so true.
And we'll get shit on, quite
Yeah.
frankly. Um, and that's okay. It's a matter of how you handle your life.
Mm,
And also remember that none of this really matters.
matters. We were
You
just
know,
saying that before this.
Yeah.
Broadway is a wonderful thing. If you get it, you're so lucky. I am so fucking lucky.
Mm.
I am lucky. I am adopted. I am like, I am.
Mm,
I spent years of my life feeling just like a mistake.
mm.
And somehow it all ended up working out, my biggest dreams somehow. But
Sorry.
those dreams are also temporary. And just because you get your dream doesn't mean that people are nice.
Mm,
It doesn't mean that it's an unhealthy work environment.
mm. Yeah,
I've had wonderful experiences and I've had nightmares. So, you know, also, who am I to tell someone how to behave?
that's true.
I'm learning that a lot right now. I don't know people's journeys, but if you're a young kid and you're making your Broadway debut and you're acting like an idiot, like I'm gonna pull you aside and I'm gonna give you some gentle love.
And thank God for it. Like we need people like you, like to aspire to, and to show us and remind us that there there is hope and there are people out here doing this 10, 20, 30 years down the road and still loving it and still and being able to impart kind of some of those old school mentalities like into the new school, because I feel like now there's some other actors my age I sometimes see like it's a bit of like ungratefulness, like just in general, and I feel like the more mature you get, I feel like you learn a gratefulness as time goes on.
You know, and it is hard. You were going to work for some poisonous fucking people, and it is okay to be ungrateful for working for those people, but there are other things to be grateful for: the paycheck, the people there that you love, the insurance weeks, the whatever, you know, and also knowing how to handle yourself. And you know, it's we're all growing, we're all not perfect, but we all got to look out for each other.
I think that's the beauty of seeing people like you on Broadway, because like you recognize the industry for what it is, and you can play the game too, and like people don't talk about the aspect of like having to, you know, you play dress up and you see these people, and if they're not great to you, or and you have something that you can do to change that or make your environment better. Like I think to even up to Broadway, and I learned this like far off Broadway, like it's all about collaboration.
Yeah.
And it's all about what you bring to the table and what you can do to like make the machine run even smoother without commenting on it too hard, or like, you know, we're all in the circle. I see theater like the end of us, where we're all just holding hands across the nation.
It's true.
You know, all
and
that.
hooking up.
Exactly. Well,
Yo, my man, thank you so much for coming on.
This has been such a
Are
pleasure.
literally the best. Thank you for bearing with us. We have learned so much from doing this.
Ever. This is our first episode.
Yeah, we're so grateful for you.
Yeah, I love
and
you.
anybody you want to shout out quickly before?
Check out my show, Josh Swallows Broadway, on the Broadway Podcast Network. Right now we are doing live streams on Wednesday and Saturday nights at 9 p.m. on bpn.fm/townhall.
That's a lot to remember.
Yeah, I know. Just check out my fucking Instagram, Josh.
Yes,
Lamon. You got this.
Josh Lamon on Instagram.
Look him up on Instagram.
He's a star.
And I also wanted to say, and we could cut this out if you'd like. You know, I always appreciate like somebody on Broadway who was such a great voice and a great person, and like, you know, I know Nick Cordero is kind of going through it right now, and that's somebody who has been such a cherished gift to Broadway. And I was wondering if you had any experiences with him or anything, any wonderful thoughts you'd like to share.
Nick is in a very scary situation, and he's an incredible performer and an incredible member of the community. And unfortunately, he's not the only one that is in this situation. And, you know, but it's also not just our community, and it's also not just the actors. It's our crew. It's our front of house. It's our Times Square police force. It's
our interns.
It's our everyone.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, I'm hoping everybody just comes through okay.
Absolutely. Josh, thank you so much.
This
thank
is
you
such a pleasure.
for hanging out with us. This has been so much fun.